What's up, lore masters? You know, it's curious to me. We get a lot of hate for Enterprise, but one of the things that they got right was the Xindi arc. Well, besides the attack on Earth, which has continuity issues, but let's not get into that. I really enjoyed the existence of the Xindi, an alliance of distinct species that came from the same planet but had different ways of handling things and drastically different technologies. If I had to nitpick, I kind of wish they had come from different planets, but again, a diverse group to be the antagonist of the United Earth. They even had varying ships that changed based on the species that used them. It was a nice addition we really don't see in the other series. Xindi ships reflected their culture, and it felt like they had thought them out and had a diverse array of different vessels. Let's just get into it. Today we'll be taking a look at the Xindi Weapon, otherwise known as the Xindi Super Weapon, or also known as Star Trek's attempt to mimic the Star Wars DeathStar. Unsurprisingly, this entire script was written by J.J. Abrams. Wait, what? When you bring up the Xindi, to most fans of Star Trek Enterprise, the ship that comes to mind is the Xindi Weapon or Xindi Super Weapon. This was one of the Xindi's greatest accomplishments. There were at least 3 of these weapons built. Take that, Emperor, and you're only being able to make 2 Death Stars. The first prototype of this weapon was effectively a probe created in 2153. This vessel appeared to have some form of impulse and traveled via subspace vortex. The probe was a test to ensure the impact and efficacy of the particle weapon against Earth itself. Many have questioned why attack Earth so early. The Xindi effectively gave the United Earth a heads up. However, it's not really that bad of an idea. Xindi space was a long way away from Earth territory, and there was no way to actually trace back to the Xindi conventionally. If it hadn't been due to help from Future Guy and being pointed in the right direction, Earth would have never known who attacked them, nor how to stop them. The next prototype would be a more powerful version that was created to destroy entire planetoids. This weapon was tested in the same year as the attack of the probe on Earth. The test would occur in the Kalindra system and was meant to destroy a small moon there. Unfortunately, due to sabotage, it was only able to destroy part of it. Unlike the probe and even the future iteration of this prototype, this weapon had to be carried via a cargo vessel in order to get it to its destination. However, once released, it did apparently have some form of other propulsion, probably impulse. The use of the cargo ship would indicate that the weapon was unable to utilize the vortex and did not have warp at that time. This may be due to the systems not being installed yet, or that these systems were already tried and true and would be installed on the version they intended to use. The third and final weapon would be substantially larger than the previous 2. The weapon was designed for a minimal crew and would be largely hollow. It was designed to require at least 3 activation codes from separate parties to ensure its usage was agreed upon. The main facility of the weapon was its core, which included having large walkways leading down into a chasm of death. We would see this design mimicked by the Sovereign several hundred years later. The weapon moved under its own power and additionally could access the vortex. Apparently not realizing the advantages of an off switch in case something happens, the only way to deactivate the weapon once it was activated was to invert a series of conduits in proper sequences to cut the power. Then you could use explosives and blow the thing to fracking hell. Unfortunately, and this is going to be for a lot of Xindi ships, we don't have a lot of information on the weapon. It was drastically different from what we had seen before, one might say alien, and did its job really well. It's an obstacle that United Earth would have a hard time getting around. Now, to be fair, I wanted to go ahead and get this video out of the way as I break down other Xindi ships. Because again, when people think of Xindi ships, they think of the Super Weapon. As I stated before, I do love the Xindi as an antagonist and ultimately a protagonist of the United Earth. They had a lot of diverse ships which we never see in other empires, not really, so it's nice that Enterprise went out of its way here. I really look forward to breaking them all down, and you'll probably have some kind of super video coming up in the near future that goes over all of the ships themselves. Other than the mirror universe, I think the Xindi arc was probably the best story that Enterprise had to tell. But those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. As always, guys, ultimately our lives are just a story. Make yours a good one.